An online community where absolutely everything is controlled by the players, from architecture and trades to relationships and the lore itself. This is Seed, the massively multiplayer simulator where you are just one part of a fully functional society. In this video, I'll be telling you a bit more about the game itself and what to expect should you be interested in giving it a go. Now, up until a few days ago, I had never heard of this game, but unbeknownst to me at the time, it's been in development since 2016 with Clang Games, who have very kindly sponsored this video and asked me to help put it on your radar. So when you first drop into Seed, you'll either be starting your own society from scratch, ideally with a few friends to help get you started, or jumping into a society that has already been founded. Your experience will vary greatly based on which road you choose to go down. For example, we decided to start our own private society since the game had only just launched that same day, and I figured I could recruit my community members to come and join us. There's also the option to open up the society to the public if you would prefer, so anyone can move into your colony at any time. Now, the first day or two made for a pretty tough survival experience, with just a few resources to start us off and a very limited skill set since our characters were so young. We set to work immediately, gathering mushrooms for basic food, collecting water for purification, and having nothing for shelter but a basic tent. Compare this to a week later, and it was a totally different atmosphere. Our expeditionary force of just a handful of explorers had grown to a total population of over 50 seedlings, with dedicated housing, local employment, and even dedicated services like a hospital and a university for learning new skills. Alternatively, you can join a society that has already got off the ground, and instead of building basic shelters and picking berries from bushes, you'll likely find a job instead, whether that's as a delivery person, toiling in the fields, or processing raw materials. Your seedling will earn money even while you are offline, and the chance to buy their way to something better. A totally different landscape with very different choices for you to make. Progress in Seed is pretty slow, but that said, this gives you a real chance to experience every stage of your society's development without fear of missing out just because you've been offline for a few days. When creating your first seedling, you'll have the chance to choose their stats and build them towards certain skills that will then affect how they are at particular tasks. A strong character will naturally be more suited to manual labor, like chopping wood or plowing a field. Someone with higher dexterity may instead be better suited to crafting intricate objects or sewing. It's important to think about what kind of thing you may want to take up as a vocation for your seedling, or what kind of business you may want to run before you get started, and choose your stats accordingly. Once your character drops into the world, you'll also be able to pick their starting interests. Whenever you are carrying out a task that is of interest to them, they'll be happier, and once an interest is fulfilled, you'll be able to pick a permanent perk that will benefit your seedling for the rest of their life. They will age naturally, and once they reach a new life stage, 3 more interests can once again be chosen, giving you a shot at more perks to achieve. The older a seedling is, the more experienced they will be. Now, that said, if you end up getting into a line of work that you don't enjoy or find yourself wanting a change of scenery, your seedling will eventually pass away and you'll get the chance to start a whole new life. There's also an overall cultivator level that you can advance by completing both daily tasks like harvesting some stuff outside of your territory, and major tasks like making your first friend or forming a romantic relationship and moving in together. As your cultivator level goes up, you'll unlock extra seedling slots, giving you the chance to pursue multiple different lives at the same time. You can actually interact with your seedling directly too, asking them to complete a certain task for you or just check in and see how they are doing. Depending on how you built your character on the creation screen will determine what kind of attitude they have towards you. Mine, for example, is a very efficient and work-focused individual, but my partner Lucy's seedling is basically the stereotypical superficial valley girl, completely driven by vibes and aesthetics alone. And trust me when I say they have some very very interesting conversations. Each seedling is different, both in terms of what they do for the society and individual personality. As time goes on, a society will expand vastly, growing its territory, upgrading basic shelters into proper housing, and even laying down things like roads and subway stations for public transport. With that expansion comes a larger population and a need for certain rules or policies to be defined. A mayor can be elected to lead the society, and they can choose who they give influential positions to, like urban minister that oversees territory expansion, building projects and rentals, or a treasurer that has access to all society funds. The mayor is able to pass new policies that can define things like taxes, income support, and much more. Should an elected leader take advantage too often, players may decide that they are no longer fit for the role and vote for someone new to take charge, which then instigates further change from there. When Seed says that it gives total control of the society's development to the players, they really do mean it. Absolutely everything is defined by your actions, whether that's economy, politics, or property management. In fact, I can give you an example from our own society in Seed, in which we were suffering from a lumber shortage after clear-cutting trees in the area to accommodate for rapid expansion and population growth. Had we thought ahead, we could have preserved some of these resources or grown some trees in advance, but sadly, we didn't think that far ahead. So we set to work creating a lumber mill with a vast amount of trees managed by a single person, which was mistake number 2 because this person then went inactive and was inadvertently hoarding all of the lumber. Thankfully, as the mayor, I was able to seize the plot and return it to public hands, allowing lumber to flow once again. This sort of dilemma is commonplace in Seed for those in positions of power, creating politics and some real heavy discussions for those with an interest. Things like politics, economics, and many other features of the game really help to make Seed an incredibly detailed and complex web of interacting systems that you might feel is a lot to take on for a single development team. But I'm confident that the game is in the right hands, with many of the Seed developers being former EVE Online devs, and to say that game was detailed is a huge understatement. You can do pretty much whatever you want in EVE Online, and Seed has definitely taken a page from that same book. There's a lot of similarities in features between the two games, so hopefully the background of the dev team will only benefit Seed as it continues development. Now, one thing I mentioned earlier in this video is that your seedling will make money even while you're offline in the event they have a job, but Seed takes it way farther than that. The entire world progresses while you are offline, and your seedling will continue to be active without your oversight. This is aided by a schedule which you can fill with certain activities. This means you can focus on leveling up certain skills that you have an interest in, craft large batches of materials that you may not want to spend your time processing while you're online, or put in some work towards a large construction project. You'll need to make sure your seedling has various needs taken care of too, allocating time for things like personal hygiene, socializing with others, and of course some time to sleep. One of the things I've found that I've come to enjoy about Seed is that you can be as involved as you want to be. Because of the way your seedling is active while you're offline, being away from home for a few days or being at work every day is not really a problem because they'll continue without you. In fact, there are several features that are clearly built to support those with sporadic playtime. For example, if you're offline for an extended period and your seedling can't fulfill some of the items in their schedule for one reason or another, they'll actually take it upon themselves to find employment, accept a job being offered in the community, and thus ensure that they are both contributing to the society itself and earning you money in the meantime. So, should you come back after a period of inactivity, you'll likely have some money to work with that will help you get reintegrated. Now, this isn't really something I've used personally, but there is also a companion app that can be downloaded to your mobile phone that will allow you to check in with your seedlings and see how they're doing. You can issue them commands, talk to other players in chat, basically anything except directly controlling your character. Again, personally, I haven't had a need for this app because I'm a relatively active player, but a couple of the people in our society use it to check in on things while they're at work during the day. On the complete opposite side of the spectrum, if you're really into the game and want to spend an excessive amount of hours on it, a bit like me every day since it's launched, you can get involved with a lot of optional features and content like business ownership, property management, and politics. Now, because I created the society, there was naturally a lot of management that needed doing, and my character became the first leader that the settlement elected. I had to assign high-level roles to people, I chose for positions of power, and later passed policies that involved taxes for some and financial assistance for others. As for my more personal endeavors, I decided on creating a farm. This would firstly provide food for the entire settlement, but also produce wheat, which could be grinded down and sold as flour on the global market to both line my own pockets and provide credits for society expansion projects. Perhaps most importantly though, it provided employment for other seedlings, which allowed them to earn money and kickstarted the local economy of our society by giving players some money to spend. Now, setting up a business wasn't easy, and I do think that Seed could do with some improvements when it comes to scheduling delivery of items between businesses and just generally making business operations a bit easier to understand. But overall, it was a great way to get the ball rolling for our society. Now, this is where the game can get really advanced for players with the activity levels to support business operations. I had to define a schedule for my workers, decide how much was reasonable pay, and make sure that enough supplies were coming in to ensure a decent output of product. Alongside this, my position as elected leader meant that I was busy carving up territory for our future development plans, selling that land on the real estate market, and creating public resources that help seedlings top up their leisure and comfort needs. So ultimately, whether you're a casual player with a couple of hours here and there, or someone that can sink in several hours a day, it really doesn't matter. Seed is as time intensive as you want it to be. Now, Seed is a game that progresses very slowly, as I mentioned earlier, so I've not had time to experience everything it has to offer just yet. But in my time with the game so far, I've come across a couple of things that I think would make for fantastic future implementations. Firstly, I'd love the ability to visit other societies, even if it were just for the purposes of seeing what other people had built, soaking in the atmosphere of another settlement completely different to your own. That would be enough for me. But there's also an opportunity there for tourism, paying for a trip to another location, maybe buying supplies you don't have right now in your society, renting a room for your stay at a hotel. I think that opens a lot of doors for trading and advancement between societies that you are actively involved in, rather than just using a marketplace terminal. Another thing that I'd like to see added are challenges and hurdles for societies to overcome as a collective. Right now, seedlings can be injured or get sick, and those ailments do need treatment with specific items. But that's a very individual issue in a game that is focused on community development. What I'd like to see are extreme weather events like blizzards that could affect crop harvests, or perhaps infectious diseases that need to be properly controlled in order to stop it from spreading. There's a range of possibilities here. Right now, there is no dynamic weather in Seed, and I feel that could add a lot of opportunities for follow-up mechanics like the ones mentioned here. But really, it could be anything, as long as it promotes a collective of players working together to overcome a common goal, much like the society tier upgrades. I believe that both of the features mentioned in this section could bring a lot more playtime to Seed and open the door to more enjoyable mechanics later down the line that really challenge players. To summarize what Seed is about, it is a game that puts absolute control into the player's hands and is a great social experiment on how a new society can be founded and developed in a variety of different ways. While it is still in early access and certain things could definitely be improved, the overall experience right now gives you plenty to do and lots of playtime. For context, I was initially asked to do a sponsored stream for just 2 hours, and that has now become over 30 hours of playtime since release. So I am well and truly hooked, and I will be very invested in where this game goes next. Once again, I would like to say a big thank you to the guys at Clang for sponsoring this video, and if you'd like to give the game a try for yourself, there is a link in the description and a join link for our society if you'd like a welcoming and supportive experience when you first get started. And that's it from me in this video, but if you've got any questions about Seed itself, let me know down in the comments, and I will see you all in the next one.